Hello and welcome everybody. We'll just give everyone just a minute to get their audio connected and then we will get started. Right, just let a few more people in and then we'll get going. All right, welcome everybody. Hello, thanks so much for coming along tonight. For those of you that don't know me, I am Chelsea Mcgill, Thermix consultant and also team leader of the Therminators. And tonight, myself along with my team, are putting on a Cookidoo 3.0 session for you all. I hope you can't hear my child yelling in the background, always as soon as I get started with these things. So today's a really exciting day. Cookidoo 3.0 has launched, and I'm hoping that most of you can see it by now. It is being rolled out by Vorwerk in Germany, so it is something that is going to take time to kind of get across everybody's Thermomixes, but from lots of people that I've been chatting with, they have got it already, which is really exciting. Now, I do just ask that you could all just stay on mute, please. Just coming off mute makes it a little bit tricky for everyone to hear me, so I will just get you guys to stay on mute, but I would love for you guys to ask me lots and lots and lots of questions. So we've got our chat box here below, which I'm just going to put a little message in. And I would love if you could please ask any questions that you might have in the chat box. So we are going to get started, and tonight I want to show you guys how Cookidoo 3.0 works and how you guys are going to be able to convert recipes over to Cookidoo 3.0 to be able to use them as guided cooking on the screen of your TM6, which is really, really exciting. So again, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Chelsea Mcgill, Thermix consultant and also team leader of the Therminators. So I have been a Thermix consultant for about 2.5 years. I have owned and been a team leader for just over 2 years now. Sorry, child just appeared. But I have actually owned a Thermix for over 8 years. So I did originally own the TM31, then I had a 5, and now of course I have a TM6. And this feature of being able to add your own recipes is something that I have been hoping would come for as long as Cookidoo has been around for anyway. So I have lots of recipes that I love that I used to make in my TM31 back in the day, or my TM5 before I had Cookidoo, which I don't really make anymore because I stopped doing them because I became really reliant on Cookidoo. Not that that's a bad thing, because Cookidoo and guided cooking are amazing. But I just find that because I can't add things to my weekly planner and my shopping list, I just kind of wasn't making them. I just found it simpler to pick my recipes out of Cookidoo, to be able to add them to my shopping list from my meal planner, and away I go. But now with 3.0, you are able to add these recipes into your weekly planner, into your shopping list, directly over to Woolies online, and then do them on the screen of your TM6 as well. So really, really cool and such a great game changer. So again, I'll just say one more time, I will ask you all to stay on mute, but I would absolutely love you guys to use the chat box below to ask me any questions that you might have about Cookidoo 3.0 or just anything that we covered tonight. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Now, I'd love to know, if you have a Thermix, what model do you have? Are you all TM6 owners? Do we have some non-owners, older model owners? Pop it in the chat and let me know. All right, lots of answers coming in there. Thank you. Keep them coming. All right, so Cookidoo. So we all know Cookidoo works on the screen of our TM6. It also works on our mobile phone for an app, and it does have a website as well. So lots of different ways to access Cookidoo. Now you use the one account and you can log into all of your different devices through your one login, your username and password. So you can see here, I'm on my website and I am logged in. I know I'm logged in because it's recognizing me. So hello, Chelsea Mcgill, what would you like to cook today? Now, for those of you that are already using Cookidoo in your TM6, you will notice that it looks exactly the same on the screen of your TM6 as it does on the website. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, a very sad child just appeared. So I have just noticed here, so today Cookidoo has updated itself, which has given you all access. And I have noticed here we've got featured for you and themes as well. So that home screen of your Cookidoo has changed slightly. And with Cookidoo 3.0, you will notice lots of changes coming, just lots of little bits and pieces, just like the way your TM6 updates itself. We will notice more changes with our Cookidoo as well, which is really great. So we've got all your standard stuff, your latest recipes. So we had 2 new Christmas collections launched last week, which is great. And then you've got your most cooked down here, which is one of my favorites. Because if you didn't know, this actually changes every day or so, depending on what people all around Australia are making in their Thermomix, which is really cool. A little bit of exciting news about the blade cover peeler, which is an amazing new attachment. You can grab one on the Mix Shop. They are about $55, and you can peel up to 800 grams of veggies, so potatoes, beetroots, carrots. I'm about to test out apples, so watch this space. And then some Christmas baking and other bits and pieces. Now, when we go up into my recipes, this is where you are going to see the new update here. So most of you should be able to see this now. There might be some of you that can't, so don't panic if you can't see it. Now, your TM6 does need to have run the latest software update. So if you do have a TM6, if you haven't done a software update in the last week or 2, I will suggest going into your settings on the screen of your TM6 and checking if there are any software updates. The software update did come out about a week or 2 ago. If you haven't done it, you will need to do it to enable this. If you have already done it, then it should just be something that appears for you. So when you go into your Cookidoo, you will see created recipes. Now, please note, this is not available on the app just yet. So it is available on the website, but you won't be able to see it on the app. That is something that is going to come. So when I click on created recipes, you can see here, so I've had access to this for probably about 6 weeks now as a team leader. So you can see that I have started to do up quite a few recipes here. So we've got one of my favorite honey mustard chicken recipes, finger buns, which we make all the time. These are a freezer staple in our house for the kids. They love them in their lunch boxes. The caramel self-saucing pudding, which is from the recipe community. Now, guys, if you haven't made this one, I highly recommend it. It is just divine and so simple. It's got like 4 ingredients. I tried some new cookies the other day. Now, this one here is a recipe that I actually developed. So I found this recipe on Taste, I think it was, and it wasn't a Thermomix recipe. So I turned it into a Thermomix recipe, and then I wanted to be able to add it to my Cookidoo to get on guided cooking. So I was able to do that, which was really great. And then we've got a couple of different bits and pieces. This is another slice that I converted, same thing, from Taste to a Thermomix recipe. So as I said, I have started doing a few. You will notice here that it does say 100 recipes is the maximum. This is going to go up, so you can fit 5,000 recipes on your Thermomix. They can be downloaded onto your Thermomix. So my assumption is we will see this number grow quite soon, but we are still in kind of the trial phase of Cookidoo 3.0. So you will see lots of changes coming, over the next month or so. So as I said, check on your Cookidoo website, not your app, and see if you, when you go into My Recipes, if you do have the created recipes option. Obviously, you guys won't see anything in there yet, but you will have this folder available. So the way that we are going to bring a recipe over is quite simple. So we can choose a recipe from Cookidoo, which we can bring over to our created recipes, and we can edit it. So say you've got a favorite Cookidoo recipe that you absolutely love, but you make 100 changes to it, like we all do. For everyone who's watched me cook before, you'd know my favorite saying is it's guided cooking, it's not set in stone. So if you are like me and you're always making changes, you can bring over one of your own Cookidoo recipes and you can edit it, and then you can cook it in your new guided cooking with your changes to it, which is brilliant. Your other option is you can bring recipes over from the recipe community. Now, some of you may not know what the recipe community is, but the recipe community is our original recipe website. So when I first got my TM31 8 years ago, we didn't have Cookidoo. It wasn't a thing. So we just had the recipe community. Now, there are almost 30,000 recipes on the recipe community. So an amazing amount of recipes for you to trawl through and bring over to your Cookidoo, depending on what you love over there. And the recipe community is great because the recipes are created by anybody. So sometimes it's people like you and me, sometimes it's chefs, sometimes it's Thermomix recipe development. You never know what you're going to get, which is really great. So it gives you a really broad range there as well. So we can edit our Cookidoo recipes and make changes to them. We can bring across recipes from the recipe community, And then, of course, we can create our own recipes as well. So you've got a favorite recipe that you've been making for years on the stove. You want to turn it into a Thermomix recipe, you can, and you can add it in for guided cooking now. Say you found a taste recipe that you really liked and you turn it into a Thermomix recipe, you can add it in. Things like that. So, for example, my husband makes a cappuccino and he is obsessed with his cappuccino. So that's one of the recipes I'm going to show you tonight, how to create just from typing it in as you would a regular recipe. So lots of different ways to access, to bring across recipes. As I said, you know, you can edit from Cookidoo, you can bring across from Recipe Community, and then you can also create your own as well. In the future well, I know in the UK, they are able to bring across recipes from blogs and stuff. So say, for example, Taste, where I saw one of these sliced recipes, which I converted to a Thermomix recipe. In the UK, you can bring something straight from Taste over. So I'm assuming we'll see lots of changes like that come in the future as well. So as I said, this is going to be an ever-changing kind of platform, especially for the next few months. So just keep your eyes peeled on all the new exciting things that come. So I will show you, I've brought up a few different recipes. Sorry, what's wrong? Okay, just go ask that, mate. Sorry, the other child appeared. Okay, plug it in there. Sorry. So we're going to start by bringing a recipe over. So I think I have selected a couple of different ones. So some of my favorite Recipe Community recipes are the jam ball donuts. So these are the hot jam donuts. These taste exactly like the market ones, as it says here. But honestly, I think they taste better. So this is a recipe that we love. So we might play around with this one. This is a recipe that I made for Thermomix. So it was something that I came across and converted it over. And then we also have some other options in here of recipes that I have brought up. But does anyone have a favorite Recipe Community recipe that they'd like to see me convert tonight? Pop it in the chat and let me know if you do. Are you someone who uses the Recipe Community? Have you got a go-to recipe that you love that you would just love to see on guided cooking? Pop it in the chat and let me know if you do. Cheese and bacon rolls. Yeah, I was going to do cheese and bacon rolls, Em. Yeah. Nick says cheese and bacon rolls. All right, we've got a few options coming in. So far, cheese and bacon rolls are winning. So let's go cheese and bacon rolls. So these are another staple in our house. I forgot to write roll on the end of that. Like when people are watching me type, I do a really poor job of it. I get a bit nervous if you're watching me type. All right, so this is the Recipe Community. So for anyone who hasn't used this before, it's recipecommunity.com.au. Is a website where anybody can upload their own recipes. So you can see over here, I've got a profile, and this is where I have uploaded some of my own recipes. And there are almost 30,000 recipes that other people have uploaded as well. So cheese and bacon rolls, there are lots of different ones, but this one here is my favorite. Now you can see here that it has 274 votes. So you know that this is going to be a great recipe. Like this one has 1 vote, 10 votes kind of thing. So I'm going to view the recipe. So here we have Thermomix recipe, Baker's Delight cheese and bacon rolls. So someone has worked out how to make them similar to the cheese and bacon rolls from Baker's Delight. And I have just noticed that we do have an add to Cookidoo button here, which is obviously just popped up today, which is exciting. So I'm going to click it and see what happens. Bear with me, I haven't used this button yet. So when I click add to Cookidoo, it's going to bring me straight over to my created collections and add this recipe from the Recipe Community, which I'm going to say okay. Yeah, that's great, Tracy. Tracy has had access to this as well, and so it's exciting seeing that new button on there, making our life a bit easier. Now I can edit the name. I can call it something different. I can also change the image if I like. So I should have been more prepared. I do have my own photos of cheese and bacon rolls, which I would be using, but I will just leave that for now because I didn't get one of those ready. Sorry. So it has brought over your total time and your portions. These I'm going to change though, because when we make these, we make them smaller because my kids are young and I get about 16 portions out of that. So I'm going to edit that. And then of course you can add your devices, TM5, TM6. If it's a TM6 only, remember to add that one. So you can see here, it's kind of just batch uploaded. So it's just brought across the whole recipe as it's written on the recipe community. It has brought our ingredients over here, and then it's got our preparation steps here. Now, I made some changes to this recipe. Now my dogs are barking, excuse that. So I made some changes to this recipe. So I don't like bacon pieces. I think bacon pieces are a bit gross. I personally don't cook with them. So I just use bacon rashers. So I use, like, say, you know, sorry, I hit the wrong button. 4 rashers of shortcut bacon. So I can change any of these things. Now I don't use grated cheese. I use regular block cheese, and then I grate it in the Thermomix. So I can make those changes there, as that I do with any recipe. You can change it up, whatever that you are doing. Alicia, it won't work out your calories per serve for this. Cookidoo does provide your calories, but they do work them out when they are developing recipes. So unfortunately, it won't work that out for you. I guess, it depends on lots of different factors. So that might be something that comes in the future. So I've edited my, my ingredients over here. And then you see here, it is just brought across our whole recipe. So my suggestion would be, if you're trying a new recipe and you're not sure if you're going to love it, my suggestion is just bring it over like this. So we can confirm this. And then I can click done. And this is going to appear on my Thermomix, which I'm going to show you now. But my Thermomix has just turned itself off. And my ring phone holder just snapped a little bit, but that's okay. Hope it doesn't drop my phone. All right. So as I said, if you wanted to try this recipe for the first time and you didn't want to upload it fully into guided cooking, you could just, what I say is batch uploading. So I have just done that. So I have literally just brought that over, and I'm just going to leave it as I see it on the website. Now I'm just going to bring up my other screen for you. So then we're going to go over to our Thermomix. And I'm going to go into my recipes, created recipes. And you can see here, we've got those cheese and bacon rolls. And this is, so it does look slightly different on the guided cooking here than it does on your standard guided cooking. You can see it's imported by me, Chelsea Mcgill. You can still scroll down and get all your ingredients ready. And then you can hit start cooking. So enjoy cooking your own recipe creation. This recipe is not an official board recipe, so please follow the general safety instructions and carefully monitor cooking process to avoid injury. Just a little safety thing here. And then you're going to see step 1 of 1, because I haven't edited it. I've just left it as the 1 step. But this still is quite a good way to do it. As I said, if you weren't sure if you were going to continuously cook this is your best option. So place yeast, sugar, and warm water into the bowl. So I can hit the scales button, and here, so we've got yeast, sugar, and warm water, and our scales. So I could weigh each of those ingredients in, knowing that that's what it asked for. Then I would exit my scales, come back down, and then I would do my next one, which would be 20 seconds, speed 4. So I would go to this one, and I would have to put this on 20 seconds, speed 4. So this is just like kind of a manual guided. So it's more manual recipe on the screen of your Thermomix. So that's your first way to bring a recipe over. And as I said, I would only really be doing that if this is a recipe that I wasn't sure if I was going to continuously make. If it is something that I'm going to continuously make, then we're going to go through and we're going to edit it, which I'm going to do now. So say I made it for the first time, absolutely loved it, know that I'm going to keep on making it. So let's make it into a proper guided cooking recipe. So I'm going to click on my little pencil down here and go back into here. So the first thing you want to do is separate your steps. So I need to hit edit first, actually. So hit edit first, and then we're going to separate our steps. So That's going to be step 1. So I've just clicked where I wanted and hit the enter button. To add salt, flour, bread improver, and oil can be step 2. And then we're going to do 5 seconds, speed 7, step 3. So I'm just separating it. So just go through and separate your steps so it's a little bit easier to read. Separating it out. Now it is much easier to read for me here, and now we have steps. So if we were going to save it like that, when I would go through the Thermomix, it would just bring up the steps on every screen. But what I want to do is I want to turn it into guided cooking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on yeast here, and I'm going to hit my scales, and now it's bringing up my ingredient list, and I've got 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. So that's what I want to add. So see here now we've got it green. So I'm just going to delete where it said yeast, and now I've got placed 1.5 teaspoons of yeast in green, which means that is now a guided cooking step. So my next one's going to be sugar. I'm just going to go back into there. Now, if I was smart, I would have weighed sugar and yeast first, so I could get rid of the teaspoons and have a weight on it. I didn't do that, so I can't show you, so I apologize. But if you were doing this, I would make sure I knew what 2 teaspoons of caster sugar was going to weigh, so then I could get rid of the teaspoons and just have, 15 grams of caster sugar. Now here it says ingredient, e.g. water, ingredient in step. So I could get rid of 2 teaspoons, so it just says caster sugar. But down here, ingredient on the TM6 is going to be the 2 teaspoons. So it just looks a little bit neater when you're reading it. So we've got our first 2 guided cooking steps here, which are bringing up our scales. And then same thing, warm water, bringing up our list. And it's it's popping everything in for me. I don't have to think about it. It's all there. And then we can get rid of in the bowl because we know we're putting it in the bowl. And then 20 seconds speed 4 is our first kind of cooking setting. So we're going to go 20 seconds and then we're going to go to speed 4. So we've got 1.5 teaspoons of yeast, which is going to bring our scales up. Caster sugar is going to bring our scales up. Warm water, and then 20 seconds speed 4 is going to be our guided cooking. So I'm happy with that step, so I'm going to save it. Then we can move on to our next one. We're going to go salt. So we're just literally going through, that's too soon. And just tidying up the recipe. So salt, flour, and we're just going to keep on doing this until we are happy with our recipe. And you can just do as many steps as you want to until you are happy with it. And then I'll show you guys on the screen of the Thermomix what it's going to look like. So that's not in my list, and I need bread improver. So I'm just going to search for it. Go, teaspoon of bread improver comes up. So it really is very, very simple. It's just a matter of spending a few minutes per recipe and just getting comfortable with how you're uploading it. Now, as I said, if you didn't want to upload it fully, you would just do, get rid of that by mistake. You could just batch upload it. If it's a recipe that you love, you're going to want to move it fully over into your guided cooking. So there we go. We've done our first 2 steps, and then we've got another cooking setting. So 5 seconds on speed 7. Oops, I just added an extra line by mistake, so I'm just going to delete that one. Now you will notice at the moment we can't access modes on the screen of the TM6 when you're converting your recipes over. So that's totally fine. All we would do is we would just leave this step to say 3 minutes dough mode or kneading, 3 minutes knead, because I can't make that a guided cooking step just yet, which means on the screen of your Thermomix, you would just hit your home button, you would swipe across to your functions and you would select knead, and then you would go 3 minutes of your kneading, and then you'd go back into your recipe to continue on. I'm assuming again that that functions will come in the future, that we will be able to access kneading, turbo, that kind of stuff in our own guided cooking recipes, but at the moment we can't. So again, just hit your home button, exit your guided cooking recipe, take yourself back into your home screen, swipe across, select your dough mode, your turbo mode, whatever it is that you need to access, and then continue on your recipe once it's done. So then transfer it, roll it into balls, and bake in the oven. And that is our first guided cooking recipe done. So I've hit done, I've saved it. Now let's just go back over to our Thermomix and have a look at how this one's going to work. So just go back to my recipes, my created recipes, and then our cheese and bacon rolls. Sorry, my internet's a bit slow tonight. And then again, you can see our recipe that it's imported by me. We can go down now. You can see it's much cleaner looking with our actual steps instead of it just being a block of recipe. Hit start cooking. And again, away we go. So now we have 7 steps instead of 1 step. And you can see here that we have our underlined ingredients, which is going to bring up our scales. So place 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. When I select that, it's telling me 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. And my scales are coming up. So then it's got your caster sugar and your water as well. Or I can come back and I can check and I can click on it again. It's going to bring me back. But this is quite clever because I know all those 3 ingredients are going in at the one time. So I'm just going to pop in my yeast, my caster sugar, and my warm water. And then I can click on my next one. And now because we've set it as guided cooking, it is set our timer. So 20 seconds, turning our speed selector around to 4. Locks in there as it would with regular guided cooking. So we've done our yeast, caster sugar, and warm water and our first cooking time. Then hit the next button, and that's going to take you over to your next page. So once we've whizzed that all up, we're going to add our salt, baker's flour, bread improver, and olive oil in here. So again, just using your scales, just making sure you tear it between each one so you're weighing them correctly. Next is going to take us to our next guided cooking, which is 5 seconds, speed 7. And again, our timer's done and it's asking us to go around to speed 7. And then 3 minutes of kneading. And as I said, you can't access that one. That's when we just hit the home button and we would just access our dough mode this way. So that would be super simple there. And then you just go back into your recipes, back into your created, and click back to where you were. So it does look a little bit more simple, like it is slightly different when you're viewing it on the screen versus when you are, sorry, as I said, internet's a bit slow, when you're doing like your traditional guided cooking. But it is a really, really great option, and it is quite simple to upload over. So you would work your way through and then away you go. Does anybody have any questions about uploading from the recipe community or anything like that? Anything that I've just covered? Have you guys got any questions? I'll just wait a sec, see if anyone wants to ask anything. At the moment, Stevie, it is just uploading from the recipe community or creating your own recipes, which is what we're going to do next. Or as I said, editing your Cookidoo recipes. So right now we're just bringing across from the recipe community, and then yeah, we will see where this goes in the future. And if you do have favorite recipes that you have from, you know, somewhere else, whatever it is, let me know what you think. I just saw a few comments coming through. What do you think, guys? Does that seem easy? Do you think that's something that you would do? Are you excited about being able to do this? Katrina, no, you're the only person that can see your uploaded recipes. So they are private. They're on your Cookidoo and your Cookidoo only. They can't be shared from one Cookidoo to the other either. so no one else can see them, so they are just for your eyes only. Keep popping your feedback in the chat box and let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling about it. And then we will move on to creating our own recipe. So as I said, my husband makes a cappuccino in the Thermomix. Some of you might have seen him doing it on my Instagram before. It is his thing. He knows the recipe off by heart. But I don't, because I actually don't drink coffee. So when people come over, I have to try to remember the recipe because we don't have a coffee machine and I never can. So I'm going to add this one to our Cookidoo so it's easy for me to access it. Got some great feedback coming in here now. Emma says, I haven't used Recipe Community for so long because I hate cooking from something other than guided cooking. I said that earlier, Emma. I'm not sure if you heard me, but I have become exactly like that. I hate having to look at a recipe that's printed or in a book or something. So this for me, is just a massive game changer as well. And the Recipe Community is an incredible website, like 30,000 recipes on there. There's so much fun food on there. If you haven't been on there, have a look, have a browse and start bringing some stuff over. Michelle's adding a recipe now. What's the recipe, Michelle? Tell us what you're doing. It'll definitely get quicker and quicker every time you do it. It will become super simple for you to do and you'll be able to do it in, just a couple of minutes. Karen put her own in today. Awesome. Loving this, guys. So we want to create a new recipe without bringing it over from somewhere. So I'm just back in my created recipes and I'm just going to hit the plus button down here. So this is the other way you can do it. So on the Recipe Community, there is that button now to bring it over to Cookidoo. But if that wasn't there, you've got import recipe here or create recipe. So I'm going to make, we call this Dino's cappuccino. It became a bit of like a running joke. I can never remember how to spell cappuccino also. Please don't judge me. There we go, it changed it for me. So we're going to go Dino's cappuccino. Again, I should have had a photo ready. I'm just going to leave it image free for now. I do have lots of great photos of his cappuccino, but I will come back and add that in afterwards. Sorry, guys, I should have had one ready. So we can fill out our devices, our prep times. Our prep time's like 1 minute, not 1 hour, 1 minute. Our total time is, let's call it 4 minutes. And this one makes 1 serve, but it is something that can be doubled very easily. So we're going to add our steps here and our first step. So I'm literally just typing it in. So our first ingredient is going to be 100 grams of water. And then we're going to go 200 grams milk of choice. Told you I type really badly when people are watching me. And then we are going to do 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. That's meant to be teaspoons, not tablespoons, by the way. A lot of coffee. 2 teaspoons of instant coffee, and then sugar to taste. So if you haven't made this one, either write it down, give a cappuccino a try in your Thermomix tomorrow morning and let me know what you think. So 100 grams of water, 200 grams of milk of choice, 2 teaspoons of instant coffee, and sugar to taste. I think I left an E off coffee there. No, I don't know. I'm late and it's tired, so excuse my poor spelling. So our first step is going to be place, and then instead of typing it, I'm just going to go straight to my ingredients to 100 grams of water. So that has automatically done that in guided cooking because I'm not editing it. So when you're doing your own recipe, it's a little bit cleaner because you are just doing it from here instead of editing what someone else has done. So place 100 grams of water, and then I'm going to do my 200 grams of milk of choice as well. And then, but I'm going to just edit that to say milk. So water, milk. This is an easy one because we just throw everything in. Our coffee. And again, I'm just going to remove that so it just says coffee. I've got to put a space in the middle, but that's okay. And then our sugar to taste. And again, I'll just edit that so it says sugar. So we've got place our water, milk, coffee, and sugar into the bowl. Yep. And then our next step is going to be our cooking time. And with this one, we're going to do the wrong one. With this one, which is our cooking time, we are going to do 3 minutes And we're going to go temperature on. So you haven't seen us do temperature yet. So 65 degrees is Dean's temperature of choice, but obviously if you like a coffee really hot, do 75. If you prefer it cooler, you could do 55. And then we're going to do speed 2.5, and that's going to swirl our coffee around. So nice and easy, 3 minutes, 65 degrees, speed 2.5. And then our last step is we're going to froth up our coffee, which is going to give us our cappuccino. So we're going to go 20 seconds, no temperature. We're going to go up to speed 8. You've got your reverse button there as well. So if you did need to put it in reverse for your recipe, here's your reverse button. So make sure you remember to set reverse. We don't want to blitz up our dinner if we're making something. So 20 seconds, speed 8, and then pour in mug, sprinkle, not sprindle, sprinkle with chocolate, and enjoy. And I am happy with that. So ingredients, cooking time, frothing time, enjoy. So I'm just going to hit the confirm button and done. And we now have Dean's favorite cappuccino recipe on the screen of our TM6. So now when we have people come over, I don't have to freak out trying to remember how to make this cappuccino because it is there on the screen of our Thermomix. We'll just duck over and check that it has come across. Oops. I just turned that video off. I don't know now. Sorry, guys. Technology hates me, I swear. All right. So back over to our TM6, back to our 3 lines, my recipes, created recipes, and Dino's cappuccino. No picture yet. I will add one. I'd make this, but he'll probably be mad if I make him drink coffee at 8:30 at night. He'll be up for a week. So hit the start cooking button. And then away we go. So water, milk, coffee, and sugar all on the screen there. 100 grams, 200 grams, 2 teaspoons sugar to taste. Next, cooking, 3 minutes is set. That 65 degrees is set, and then 2.5. Then we're going to do 20 seconds, round to speed 8. It's all done for us. Pour in mug, sprinkle with chocolate, and enjoy. Enjoy your dish. Well done. So we have now brought over a recipe from the recipe community. We have also created our own recipe from something that we loved. And then I just want to show you guys the last one, which is going to be editing a Cookidoo recipe. Sorry, I was just reading a comment and got distracted. So share my screen. So if I want to edit a Cookidoo recipe, it would depend what I am making. Does anybody have a favorite Cookidoo recipe that they make changes to already? I'm trying to think. I make so many changes to my recipes, but I'm trying to think what one I could show you. We'll just do the lasagna. I popped this one in here. So we love this lasagna recipe, but I do make lots of changes to it. I have made it a few times, so I do remember them. Yeah, I am doubling recipes is a great one. Once you've created or converted and cooked, does the recipe appear in recently cooked? Great question, Melissa. I'll have to check my recently cooked in a second and let you know. So our lasagna bolognese. So I brought this recipe up now. I'm going up to the top of my screen where the address bar is, and I'm just going to copy it. So I'm going to copy that Cookidoo recipe, and then I'm going to go into my recipes, back into my created recipes, and then back there, and then we want to import a recipe, and I'm going to paste the URL from my lasagna bolognese into here. Now here is our recipe. So I can change the photo if I want. Got our title. We've got all of our steps there. Now, some of the changes that I make to this recipe, I'm going to edit the ingredients. I use tasty cheese, not Parmesan. So that's an easy one. I can change that to tasty. Now, 500, it says 200 grams of mixed veg. Now, I like to do 500 grams of veggies of choice. I'm going to leave it as mixed because it depends on the day as to what I do. I do much less oil, so I only do 20 grams of olive oil. And then because I do 500 grams of veg instead of 200, I actually only do 500 grams of meat as well. And I use beef mince. That's just what I like to do. I use red wine instead of white wine. And I do 800 grams of tomatoes instead of 400. Gosh, I make a lot of changes to this recipe. I didn't realize how many I did. The bechamel is perfect in my eyes, so I don't make any changes to the bechamel. In saying that, I do leave out the nutmeg, so I'm just going to delete the nutmeg. I don't like nutmeg. And then the lasagna sheet. So I have just edited my ingredients to suit me better. And yep, Lisa, you can change the amount of servings, definitely. So you would just edit that in that first section as to how many it feeds. And then I can just go through and change anything here that I needed to. So mixed vegetables, I'm just going to update this one to our 500 grams of mixed veg. And then our 500 grams. Wrong button. So 500 grams of beef mince. Here we go. So I have just edited my lasagna recipe to now have all those changes that I make whenever I do this one. So I've just changed my ingredients mainly that I do. All of the cooking times I do the same, but I do just change the ingredients. If you do edit the cooking times, like say, for example, you think a recipe is overcooked, like the honeycomb, for example. I know some people say the TM6 honeycomb tastes a tiny bit burnt. You need to reduce it to 18 minutes from 20. So you could easily just bring that over and then do 18 minutes instead of 20 and then confirm it, done. And that is our lasagna bolognese now done in my way instead of the Cookidoo recipe. Sharon's asked, will the original recipe stay in the original place? Yes, it will. So the lasagna bolognese will still be on Cookidoo as the lasagna bolognese. But for me, I will be able to also have the option of making my lasagna bolognese, which is the same recipe, just with those changes. So tasty cheese, 500 grams of veg, 500 mince. So I've just changed it to suit me. But if I want to, I still can access, if I go back into my week, I still can access this is the original lasagna bolognese. You can see Parmesan cheese, 200 grams of veg. So it's still there unchanged. And then I've got my version as well over in my created. Now, for any of you that are doing meal planning, so pop it in the chat and let me know, is anyone using the meal planning functions, the shopping lists? Is this something that you love about Cookidoo? Pop it in the chat and let me know. Yes, a couple of people loving the meal planning and the shopping lists. Awesome. So as I said earlier, I'm a big meal planner. I love being able to do my weekly meal plan. So you can see here, this is my week. So tonight we had, if you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll have to go check out. We had nut balls with tomato sauce. I purely made this recipe because I saw it this morning and I thought, how can I not make nut balls? Like, who names their recipe nut balls? Seriously. But jump on my Facebook or Instagram and have a look. We did make it. It was actually really nice. And then tomorrow we're just having tacos. I'm going to make some crumpets. We've got a seared steak salad. Weekend we're going to do some meatball subs, apple pie. Got a couple of fun things. So this is my weekly plan for the week. We are out Thursday and Friday, so I have leftovers. So there's nothing on there. But as I said earlier, you know, one of the things that why I stopped using the recipe community was because I couldn't add it into my weekly planner. So if it couldn't be put in my weekly planner and done for my Woolies online, I just didn't really do it. So now I'm able to do that. So I could go into my creative recipes and I could put what I want to be making. So say tomorrow we actually need to restock our cheese and bacon rolls. So I can add this to my, I added it to my shopping list by mistake. I can add this to my week and I want to make those tomorrow. Say I wanted to have my honey mustard chicken. I'm going to add this to my week, and I'm going to say have that on Thursday. Our self-sourcing pudding we could also add. Well, let's do one of the ones we did today. That's probably better. So Dean wants his cappuccino in the morning. We can have that. And then let's do the self-sourcing pudding because, as I said, this thing is amazing. So add that into my week. So I've added my recipes into my week. So you'll now see that I have my regular week, plus I was able to add in or remove the original bolognese. Don't get confused. I've got my cheese and bacon rolls. I've got my cappuccino, my honey mustard chicken, and my pudding all in there with my normal Cookidoo recipes. Now I just want to bring up my shopping list. Our faces are in the way. I'm just going to clear off my shopping list. So I'm back in my week, and now I can choose what I want to add to my shopping list. So say I want to add my tacos to my shopping list. I'm going to add my cheese and bacon rolls to my shopping list. Now that's something I've never been able to do before. So I want to add my coffee, my salad. Oh, sorry. And then our honey mustard chicken. This, I don't think you guys understand how much joy I'm getting out of this right now, being able to add all of these recipes to my meal plan and my shopping list. I'm just like, this is amazing. So I've now got those in my shopping list. And now if you're not using the shopping list function, I definitely recommend doing it because it is brilliant. So I've added it to my shopping list and it's collated it down essentially by aisle for me. So if I go to the supermarket, I can have my phone out and it's going to bring up all of my ingredients as I walk around the aisles and I can tick them off. If you're like me and you like to do Woolies online, I live 15 minutes to the closest Woolies, so I just find it easier to do online shopping. So I am going to go through and just get rid of anything that I don't need. So I know I've already got walnuts, so I'm just going to cross that off. Got lime juice and water. I'm going to buy cheese and sour cream. Let's say I've got olive oil and veg oil. I've got pepper salt. So you can just mark off anything that you've already got in the cupboard or the fridge. So you can see it doesn't collate these ones down into the aisles. It does just pop them into others, which is fine. Veggie stock paste I don't need to buy. So just go through and mark off the things that you do have. Go through. And then there is my shopping list. So I can add any additional items that I might need, like toilet paper. And there they are. You can print that, you can share that, you can email it, copy and paste it, whatever it is. But my favorite one is this one here, which is order ingredients. And now we are having some technical difficulties, and this one is down at the moment. So it uses a third party called Whisk, which is the website that adds everything. It helps you to pick the brands that you want and that kind of stuff. Whisk is having some technical difficulties at the moment. All work are working on this, so hopefully this will be fixed in the next few days and be up and running. I'm shattered that I can't show it to you, because for those of you that haven't used this function, this is a massive game changer. It wasn't advertised overly when it came out last year. It's been around for about probably close to 18 months now. It wasn't overly advertised, but it is just brilliant. So it will import everything from this shopping list here over to this Whisk page. It'll give you an opportunity to change any brands, any sizes, anything that you're not happy with. And then once you're happy with that, it'll literally add it into your Woolies online cart and be ready to be ordered in your online shop, your click and collect, whatever it is that you like to do. So if you haven't tried that function, give it a few days, and once it's up and running again, hopefully it won't be too long. I definitely recommend giving that a shot, especially now because we can add our Cookidoo, our own recipes to Cookidoo, and can add them into our weekly meal planner and our shopping list. It is just a massive game changer for anybody who was already using those functions before. So yeah, that is Cookidoo 3.0, creating recipes, batch uploading. So as I said, if you're not sure that you want to make something multiple times, bring it over in a batch and just have it on the screen of your Thermix instead of having to read something else. Didn't love it, delete it. Absolutely loved it. Spend those few minutes editing your steps into your guided cooking. And then it will be available just like your regular guided cooking. We have edited a Cookidoo recipe to suit our changes. We've uploaded our own recipe, being Dean's cappuccino. We've put them in our shopping list and our meal planner as well. And then obviously we'll be able to order them into Woolies if we wanted to. Does anybody have any questions about any of the new Cookidoo 3.0 functions? Pop them in the chat box and let me know. Anything that I covered, anything I didn't cover that you're interested in knowing, throw it in the chat and let me know. And I will check if recipes come up in recently cooked. And those recipes don't show in recently cooked, so you would still need to go through back into your created recipes when you were going back to them. No questions? No questions coming through? Anything at all that you wanted to know that I haven't mentioned? So copyright, I'm probably not the right person to answer that. At the moment, Thermomix is saying we're just uploading recipes that belong to us, the recipes from the recipe community, because of copyright. If you purchased a cookbook, I'm not a copyright lawyer, but I assume that if you purchased it, you do own that recipe for you to be using. It is kind of similar to Paprika. I don't know if anyone used to use Paprika, which is like that online platform where you could upload your own recipes. But as I said, Thermomix are saying recipes that you've created, recipes from the recipe community currently. So watch this space around that. And yeah, Thermomix will kind of cover that as things change, I guess. As I said, in the UK, they are able to upload from anywhere. So I found that interesting compared to what we're kind of saying. So yeah, I think it will be something that changes, as this is an ongoing kind of thing. Sorry, I can't give you a more kind of direct answer about that, Lisa. Yes, Belinda, this has been recorded. I will upload it to the cloud. Please just send me a message, or your consultant, whoever invited you along tonight, a message tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be able to have the link ready for you. Tanya's just asked to show how you edit the speed and temp again. Yep, I can do that. That's no worries at all. Any other questions, just keep them coming. Michelle just added a recipe manually, not from the recipe community. Yeah, awesome. That's fabulous. So yeah, as said, you can upload things manually that aren't from the recipe community. And yep, Karen, just ask just chat to your consultant, and they will get the recording for you tomorrow. It'll be done. I've got to upload it to the cloud, so it'll take a little bit to do that, especially with slow internet. Keep any questions coming, and I am just going to go back. Maria says it's a game changer, which is great. Keep your feedback coming in as well. Let me know, what do you think? Are you excited? What's the first recipe you're going to upload to your Cookidoo? Have you thought about it? Is there something that you want to do? Tanya, all right. If anybody wants to jump off, please feel free to. Tanya, stay on and I will show you how to do that again. If anybody else wants to see me change the speed and that again, please stick around. Thank you so much to everybody for coming along tonight. I hope you are excited about Cookidoo 3.0. As I said, I have had access for about 6 weeks and I do absolutely love it. It is a really awesome feature and something that I know you guys are really going to love. If you do have any more questions, please chat to your consultant. They are there to help you. They are more than happy to help out in any way. We can run some more classes once you're all kind of up and using it. And yeah, just keep those questions coming. Karen's just said still experimenting, which is great. It's just about giving it a shot and seeing how you go. And if you do get stuck along the way, you need a hand, let your consultant know. Or if you do it really successfully and love it, also let your consultant know. We love hearing feedback from you guys about how you're going with things. So please keep us posted. We are running a Christmas cooking class, so Christmas Day class next Monday. I think it's the 6th of December at 7:45 on Zoom. Please chat to your consultant or check out our Instagrams or Facebooks for the link to that one in the next few days. We're looking forward to sharing some of our favourite Christmas dishes with you guys next week. All right, I'm just going to go back, share my screen again. Now I'll just go into my recipes and my created recipes and I'll just show it again using one of those ones. I'll use lasagna as an example. I'm just going to click the 3 dots and edit the recipe and then edit here. So when you want to say, I'll just select bowl, it's obviously not a weight, but so you've got your ingredients or you've got your cooking settings. So there we go. If you just click that plus there, that will bring up here. So you can add your minutes, seconds, temperature, and then your speed as well. And that's where your reverse button is too. And then when you're happy with it, just hit that green tick, and then that will save there as well. Karen's off to add the caramel self-saucing pudding. Great choice. It's just so much easier. And I add a bit of vanilla essence to that and some white chocolate chips. I love that you can have, you know, those little changes that we're making to our recipes can be saved in them now, which just makes life that little bit easier. Again, any more questions, pop them in the chat box, but otherwise, that is pretty much me done for tonight. So thank you again to everybody for coming along. And please, yeah, keep your feedback coming through for us. We really look forward to seeing what you guys are making on the new Cookidoo 3.0 update. And thank you again, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night, and hopefully we'll see you next Monday at our Christmas Day cooking class. Thanks, everyone. Oh, that's weird, Tanya. Definitely restart it. Just log out and log back in. It might just be a glitch or something.